Past Christian's Mayor Kenny Torgeson's State of the City address included updates on the Harbor, Development and Code Department. And Mayor Torgeson is here this morning to share his insight into his city and what's happening there. And there's a lot happening in Past Christian right now. You just took over as mayor earlier this year, but you've hit the ground running. And there's a lot of building going on across the city and a lot of projects coming together. Just give us an update of some of those highlights right now of those developments.
Well, a lot of people have seen North Street, that's a very North Street of Past Christian, and we're finishing up a $7 million gravity main project there. We're down to about the last 1,400 feet of that, and then we'll be repaving North Street. That's one long ongoing project. In the Scenic Drive part of Past Christian, we're seeing completion of the bungalow project. We just did a walkthrough with the state. They liked, and it was phase 1 of that project. They liked what they saw. We have an ice cream parlor and coffee shop. We've got St. James Cheese Company there. It's great. Feels Italian, and then there's it's Coast Casual. It's actually a men's and boys high-end clothing store.
Okay.
So those retail areas are completely booked, and then the short-term rental Airbnb boutique hotel in the back part of it is up and running. It was 100% booked during cruising the coast. So that whole phase 1 is completed.
Yeah, that is impressive. As far as the bungalows goes, those are essentially short-term rentals, or are those permanent residents, do you think?
No, it's more of a boutique hotel.
Okay.
It's kind of short-term rental. I walked through them for the first time yesterday, and they are really, really nice. So it's a great vacation area. They all have small kitchens in them, so you can spend a week there or a day there.
Right.
So it's really a nice addition to the city.
And you also have permanent housing coming online, a lot of construction of new subdivisions, I understand.
Absolutely. We have the Henderson Avenue. It's called the Trinity Park development. They're already building houses on that now. There's nothing been on that property probably in 100 years. It's a really great addition. There's the St. Paul development, that's phase 2 of the downtown development, that's about halfway through the project. And then there's a new project that's, I guess, a little bit west of City Hall. That's going to be the Whispering Oaks extension. Okay. So it's another development where the old Miramar nursing home was. Why
do you think so? There's a need there for people moving into the community. Why do you feel like the need is there to accommodate people who want to move into Past Christian? What's the driver?
Past Christian is a driver.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just such a nice little community. Everyone wants to live there. We have the probably most charming city on the Mississippi Gulf Coast, and people really want to live there. The other driver too is our schools. We have the, I think, top 5, 5th, 6th school in the state, and the 2nd best high school in the state of Mississippi. So it's really, that's one reason the schools are driving people to want to live here.
Right, so we're talking a lot about growth. I remember in your campaign you were trying to sell ways of how you manage the growth but keep that small town charm going. So how are you balancing it right now?
Building the right developments, just more retail and the right type of housing. It's more charming. It's not just a housing project. They're well made, and they're really nice for our area.
And I've seen an update on the Harbor projection show on track to turn a profit this year, which is different. What do you think's been different as far as the Harbor goes?
Our harbor master, for one thing, and the Board of Aldermen that's working with him. We're actually enforcing ordinances that were in place for years that were not being followed. It's his organization of the harbor that's really fixing things. And also there's a bunch of renovation of the harbor. Right now we're finishing up the west side harbor wall near Shaggy's.
Okay. We're looking forward to seeing what that looks like, right?
Yeah, it's going to be nice.
Okay. The audit of the city, that's been an ongoing discussion there. What's the latest update on that audit, if it's going to be performed, and what might be found from it?
We are down to the last 3 issues of accounting to give to our auditor. Most of all the information has been given to the auditing firm, other than these 3 accounts that we're working on. Once that's finished, then it'll be up to the auditor. They have to do their accounting, so it could be within months.
Okay, so we could be looking for that in the next few months.
That's
Any
right.
concerns there with items that might come up that were unexpected?
No, not yet. I mean, we'll find out when the auditor does their part of the work of what maybe issues are, or maybe not.
Okay. And what's the conversations been around that around town? Have people been happy with the process, or are they kind of on the lookout?
They're interested. They're really wanting to know the state of finance. And we're really trying to give them the information that we really have. And I think pretty much most people I've explained it to understand it. And it was just a lot of work to get it to where we are right now. We were actually 2 years behind an audit. We finished 1 year, and now we're doing the very last year. So that should happen in a few months.
Okay, well, what's on the horizon? We talked a lot about what's happening right now with the city. Do you have any tease of some potential developments that are on the way?
Well, yeah, we've tabled, the North Street sidewalk in front of the high school has been on a shelf sort of for about 8 years now. And we should be now breaking ground somewhere in March of 2026. So that's a great thing. That fund has been sitting around for a while, so citizens should be able to see some progress there. The North Street extension is another project that was tabled years ago, probably 8 years ago also.
Well, we'll be looking for those projects. We're just about out of time.
Sure.
Mayor Kenny Torgeson from Pass Christian, thanks for joining us. Great updates from your city today.
Thank you.